We live in a world that is just entirely obsessed with speed, right? Deadlines, the next big thing. We're constantly rushing around. Our eyes are glued to screens, and we're terrified, literally terrified, of falling behind. But what if I told you the most urgent, life-changing wisdom out there didn't come from some billionaire tech CEO or a modern productivity guru? What if it came from an old, dying man in a wheelchair? Welcome to today's Explainer. We're unpacking a deeply emotional, truly cinematic masterclass on the meaning of life. It's a curriculum all about love, regret, happiness, and mortality, and it's taught entirely from firsthand experience.
Everyone knows they're going to die, but nobody believes it. Let that just sink in for a second. We all know it intellectually, sure, but we live as if we have an absolute, infinite supply of tomorrows. This profound thought right here, it sets a deeply philosophical tone and really builds the foundation for everything we're about to explore together.
So here's the story. 16 years after graduation, a guy named Mitch Albom had completely lost his way in this relentless pursuit of success. Then he rediscovered his old sociology professor, Morrie Schwartz. The resulting book, Tuesdays with Morrie, chronicles their final days together. You see, when Morrie was diagnosed with ALS, which is this brutal, totally unforgiving neurological disease that slowly paralyzes you from the legs up, basically melting your nerves and leaving your body like a pile of wax, he made a profound decision. Instead of just withering away in shame or hiding, he made his own death his final project. And his one single student for this final class? Mitch.
And the contrast between these two men when they finally reunited? Oh, it was staggering. Mitch's world was just consumed by looming deadlines, tabloid gossip, chasing massive paychecks and famous athletes, living at this absolute breakneck speed. He was cramming every second with accomplishments just to avoid thinking about his own mortality, and honestly, his inner emptiness. But Morrie? Even while staring down an agonizing death, he created a completely different culture. He surrounded himself with discussion groups, deep human connection, the beauty of nature, purposefully slowing everything down. He essentially built his own cocoon of meaning while the rest of the world rushed blindly by.
Section 1. The tension of opposites.
Okay, let's dive into this because it brings us to an incredibly relatable concept Morrie taught his student. It's that internal wrestling match we are all fighting every single day between what we desperately want to do and what society tells us we are bound to do. Morrie described life as a series of pulls back and forth. You want to do one thing, but you are bound to do something else. Something hurts you, yet you know it shouldn't. You take your precious time for granted, even though you know you absolutely shouldn't. It stretches us, exactly like a rubber band being pulled in two opposite directions. And honestly, most of us live our entire lives caught right there in the middle, totally paralyzed by that tension and disconnected from what actually matters.
So, when you're being pulled apart by this tension in your own life, which side wins? Think about it. In this constant wrestling match of modern existence, who actually gets the final victory?
Well, Morrie's answer was simple. Love wins. Love always wins. And this aphorism isn't just a nice feel-good saying, it's the core philosophical tenet of everything he taught. When you strip away all the ambition, the money, the fancy cars, and the endless noise, love is literally the only thing that remains victorious.
Section 2. Learning to die.
What if today were your last day on Earth? I mean, our culture actively distracts us from our own mortality. We spend hours obsessing over celebrity trials or random tabloid drama, office politics, or, fixing a radiator. We fill our days with trivialities, basically sleepwalking through our own existence, until it's entirely too late to ask if this is the life we actually wanted.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is what Morrie told Mitch. Once you learn how to die, you learn how to live. When you finally accept that you are going to die, it completely strips away your ego. It strips away all those materialistic things that, let's face it, don't satisfy us anyway. Suddenly, you can look out a window and appreciate the wind blowing through the trees in a way you never, ever did when you thought you had endless time.
To maintain this kind of clarity, Morrie adopted this really beautiful Buddhist concept. He imagined keeping a little bird on his shoulder. And every single day, he would look at that bird and ask, is today the day? Am I ready? Am I doing all I need to do? Am I being the person I want to be? It's a daily practice of spiritual readiness. It forces you to live with daily intentionality rather than just blind momentum.
But please don't think Morrie wasn't terrified or sad. His physical decline was horrific. To cope, Morrie developed a highly structured approach to his grief. Step 1, mourn what is lost. Step 2, give yourself a good cry. Step 3, stop mourning and concentrate on the good. He purposefully limited his self-pity to just a few moments each morning. He'd feel his atrophied body, shed a few tears, and then definitively move on to find purpose in the people coming to visit him.
Section 3. The Power of Love. As ALS stole Morrie's ability to walk, to bathe, and eventually to even wipe his own nose, something miraculous happened. Without physical mobility, his emotional capacity only grew stronger. It became more resonant, more deeply profound. Morrie often quoted his friend Levine, saying, "Love is the only rational act." He stressed that the most important thing in life is to learn how to give out love, but just as crucially, and this is the hard part for so many of us, right? To let it come in. We often think we don't deserve love, or that letting it in is going to make us too soft. But Morrie proved that opening ourselves to receive love is the ultimate rationality.
He also heavily relied on the great poet W.H. Auden, who said, "Love each other or perish." Morrie viewed deep relationships and family as the only true foundation for spiritual security. It's that comforting knowledge that someone has an eye on you, that someone is watching out for you absolutely unconditionally. Fame won't give you that. Money won't give you that.
As Morrie put it, without love, we are birds with broken wings. He knew intimately that he could not survive his harrowing, incredibly painful journey towards suffocation without the unwavering, watchful presence of his loved ones holding his hand. It was their love that kept his spirit flying, even as his physical body died. Section 4. The Ultimate Lesson. So the crucial point is this. Morrie urged Mitch, the culture we have does not make people feel good about themselves. Create your own. You have to be strong enough to reject those toxic societal pressures that tell you more money, more prestige, and more speed are going to fulfill you. If the culture doesn't work, don't buy it. Actively build your own meaningful life, devoted to others, to your community, and to your genuine purpose. And part of creating that personal culture involves a really profound lesson in detachment. Don't cling to things, because everything is impermanent. When Morrie was having terrifying coughing fits, literally fighting just to swallow air, he learned to detach from the terror of the experience. For us, detaching means stepping back from our frantic sleepwalking rush. It allows us to deeply appreciate the simple, everyday miracles that we usually ignore. A shared meal, the sunlight, a conversation with an old friend.
Are you trying to be as human as you can be? Think about the tension in your life right now. Think about that little bird on your shoulder. Are you truly living? I'll leave you to reflect on that.